Before we pray, let's take a moment to reflect on something powerful. Before Jesus did anything miraculous, before the healing, the teaching, or even choosing his disciples, he paused to pray. Think about that. The Son of God, full of power and wisdom, still chose to begin his days in quiet connection with the Father. He didn't rush into the day. He didn't skip prayer to save time. He made it the foundation of everything that followed. Now ask yourself, how often do we jump into our day without even a moment to breathe, to reflect, or to invite God in? This isn't about adding one more thing to your to-do list. It's about finding the peace, strength, and clarity that only come from meeting with God first. Just as Jesus did, we too can choose to begin each day grounded in prayer, no matter how busy or broken the world around us may feel. Let's talk about why that simple choice can change everything. For many years, I believed that prayer was something I only turned to in moments of crisis. I used to rush through my mornings, grabbing a quick coffee and diving straight into the day without stopping to chat with God. I remember a time when I was overwhelmed by work deadlines and family responsibilities, and prayer felt like an extra task I couldn't afford. I thought, there's no time for this, and that I could handle everything on my own. Then, one cold winter morning, something changed. I was on my way to work, feeling the usual tightness in my chest and a buzz of anxiety in my mind. A friend from church, Maria, asked if I had taken a moment in the morning to pray. I admitted I hadn't, and she shared how her quiet time with God helped her manage the stresses of her day. Intrigued, I decided to try it for one morning. Instead of reaching for my phone as soon as my alarm rang, I sat on the edge of my bed for 5 minutes. I didn't use fancy words or worry about saying everything perfectly. I just talked to God about my fears, my hopes, and the challenges ahead. That single morning made a huge difference. I felt a gentle peace that stayed with me through the busy commute, during long meetings, and even in those moments when I almost lost my composure. Over the next few weeks, I made it a point to wake up a little earlier. I created a quiet nook by the window, made a fresh cup of tea, and spent time talking with God about my day. I wasn't praying for miracles to fix immediate problems. I was simply sharing my life, my gratitude, my frustrations, and my dreams. I realized that many of us fall into the trap of thinking that prayer is reserved for emergencies. We wait until something goes very wrong before reaching out. But in doing so, we miss out on a steady daily practice that brings comfort and clarity. I began to notice that on days when I prayed first thing in the morning, I was more patient at work, kinder to my family, and better able to navigate unexpected challenges. I recalled a morning when my car wouldn't start. A familiar daily commute turned into a stressful scramble. Yet because I had begun my day with prayer, I was calm enough to call a neighbor for help and even found humor in the situation rather than frustration. These honest, unhurried conversations with God helped me see that prayer isn't about getting immediate, dramatic fixes. It's about connecting with God in everyday moments, recognizing that His presence isn't just for the big events in our lives. Instead, it's in the quiet, often overlooked moments, right at the start of our day, that we can truly set the stage for a life filled with purpose, hope, and love. From that point on, every morning became an opportunity, a time to reset, to breathe, and to invite God into every detail of my day. I learned that prayer is less about reciting perfect words and more about opening my heart honestly. It's a simple act that nurtures the soul, provides comfort during stressful moments, and slowly transforms our outlook on life. And as real as these moments were for me, they can be real for you too. The real beauty of morning prayer is that it sets up an internal rhythm that carries you throughout the day. When you take time in the early hours to connect with God, you're not just starting your day with a routine, you're cultivating a mindset of gratitude and openness. Think back to a morning when everything felt rushed and clumsy, and compare that with a morning when you sat quietly with your thoughts. That sense of calm isn't accidental. It comes from a deliberate choice to invite God's presence into your life. I learned that feeling when I began allowing myself those extra minutes of stillness. It wasn't about praying for a sudden burst of success or an immediate solution to my problems. It was about acknowledging that I was not alone, that someone far more powerful cared for each tiny detail of my day. On mornings when I prayed, I noticed a shift. My heart felt lighter, and even the small challenges seemed easier to handle. It was like opening a window in a stuffy room. Suddenly, fresh air filled the space, and every worry seemed more manageable. There's something deeply human about starting our day with prayer. It transforms the ordinary into something sacred. You might wake up to the sound of rain tapping on your window, or the first light seeping into your room. Simple, everyday details that become reminders of God's constant care. When I observed these moments, I understood that prayer doesn't have to be grand. It can be as straightforward as saying thank you for a new day, or asking for a bit of guidance in making tough decisions at work. The deeper truth here is that prayer molds our entire perspective. With each conversation with God, our inner dialogue changes. We start to recognize that every trial is temporary and that our faith is a wellspring of inner strength. Instead of letting stress and worry take over, we learn to surrender our challenges, trusting that God's plan for us is bigger than anything we could imagine. I experienced this when I faced a major life decision at work. Rather than panicking or overthinking the potential risks, I whispered a quiet prayer of trust. That small act of faith gave me clarity and courage to choose the path that felt right, even if it wasn't the easiest one. Morning prayer, in its simplest form, is a reset button for the soul. It clears the mental clutter accumulated from yesterday's struggles and opens up space for fresh insights and renewed hope. When you consistently make space for prayer, you're also creating room for genuine gratitude. You find yourself noticing the little miracles, a delicious cup of coffee, a kind message from a friend, or even a challenging task that brings out your best qualities. Those moments, shared in honest conversation with God, slowly build up a quiet confidence that stays with you all day. Furthermore, there's an undeniable power in being vulnerable in prayer. When you express your true feelings, whether they're joy, fear, or uncertainty, you're allowing yourself to be fully seen by God. This honesty builds trust, not only in your relationship with Him, but also in your ability to face life's ups and downs. I remember one winter morning when I felt particularly low. Instead of holding my worries inside, I let them spill out in prayer. It wasn't dramatic or overly emotional, just sincere, and by the end of it, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. That experience taught me that real connection doesn't require dramatic words. It needs an open heart. So, the deeper truth of morning prayer is that it's a quiet, steady practice that fills you up with hope, builds trust, and transforms how you see your day. Every morning is an opportunity to begin again, with clarity, with gratitude, and with a comforting knowledge that you are supported by a love that never fades. When we read the Bible, we see a clear thread. Prayer is essential. Jesus himself set aside time every morning to speak with his Father. In Luke 5 verse 16, we read that Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. This wasn't just ritualistic, it was deeply personal. Jesus understood that a steady connection with God was the anchor for all his actions. His life teaches us that before every miracle, every healing, and every moment of strength, there was prayer. Jesus spoke to God in simple, honest language. He didn't feel the need to impress anyone with eloquent words or elaborate ceremonies. He talked as you might with a close friend, sharing his worries, hopes, and gratitude. I think about a morning when I was debating how to handle a difficult situation at work. Instead of overcomplicating my thoughts, I sat quietly and expressed my genuine feelings. Much like Jesus, I kept it simple and sincere, and through that conversation, I found clarity and comfort. This personal approach to prayer reminds us that there is no need for fancy language or rigid formulas. God listens to every word, regardless of how simple it may seem. Another powerful lesson comes from the Psalms. In Psalm 5, the psalmist speaks about rising early to find God's direction. This wasn't a hurried routine, it was a heartfelt practice that prepared the day. The psalmist's quiet morning prayer is a model for all believers. It shows us that when we take a little time to speak with God, we invite his calm and guidance into our busy lives. I recall a time when I was feeling overwhelmed by the noise of everyday responsibilities. Taking that time to pray helped me reclaim a sense of control and purpose, reminding me that every small step of the day matters when it begins with God. Consider also the story of Jesus calming the storm. Before this display of power, there was a clear record of him taking time to connect with God. His prayer was not just a tool for miracles, but the source of the strength and peace that enabled him to lead others confidently. In our own lives, daily prayer offers that same inner peace. When the pressures of modern life, be it an unexpected expense, a tough conversation, or the unpredictability of our work, loom large, that morning prayer can become our lifeline. It grounds us in the truth that we are cared for and that we have a guide who is always with us. What makes biblical prayer so accessible is its emphasis on simplicity and sincerity. When Jesus prayed, his words were direct and pure. He wasn't concerned with being perfect. He was concerned with being real. That same authenticity is available to us. When you wake up and talk to God about your genuine struggles and victories, you're engaging in a practice that has been honored for centuries, a practice that built faith in the early church and continues to nurture believers today. The scriptures remind us that we don't need to be overwhelmed by our problems. Instead, every new morning is a chance to start fresh. By following Jesus' example, we learn that our communication with God doesn't have to be reserved for times of desperation. It can be a natural, cherished part of our day, like sharing a morning coffee with someone who loves us unconditionally. I've experienced this firsthand. On mornings when I've taken that extra few minutes to pray, I've felt equipped to handle not only my tasks, but also to face unexpected challenges with courage. Moreover, the Bible teaches us that prayer is a source of wisdom and strength that flows into every corner of our lives. It's not about predicting the future or solving every problem instantly, but about building a relationship where trusting God becomes the foundation of our decisions and actions. When we integrate prayer into our daily routine, we learn to lean on God in both the quiet moments and the chaotic ones. His guidance, as depicted in numerous biblical accounts, becomes the steady light that guides us through our own storms. In summary, biblical insights show us that morning prayer is a timeless practice. A simple yet profound dialogue that empowers us. By following in the footsteps of Jesus and the faithful words of the Psalms, we not only greet the day with a lighter heart, but also build a resilience that carries us through life's ups and downs. Today, I invite you to start your day with a moment of sincere prayer. Set your alarm just a few minutes earlier so you can have some quiet time. You don't need fancy words or a long script. Just speak from your heart. Share your worries, your hopes, and your gratitude with God, as you would with a close friend. Think about how the simple act of pausing and praying can transform your day. I have seen how even a brief moment of calm in the morning can reset your mood, ease anxieties, and give you the strength to face challenges. Imagine starting your workday, school, or home life with a sense of clarity and a strong connection to a loving presence. That's the power of morning prayer. Try it for a week and notice the difference. Let prayer be your first step in transforming not just your day, but your entire outlook on life. Embrace this habit as a gift, one that fills your heart with hope and equips you to share kindness with others throughout your day. Dear God, as I begin this day, I come with a heart full of honesty and gratitude. Thank you for the gift of waking up to a new day, a day filled with chances to grow, to love, and to learn. I feel your presence around me, and it reassures me that I am never alone in this journey of life. Today, I lay my worries and plans before you, asking for your guidance and strength. In these early moments, I confess that my heart has felt heavy with everyday struggles, from the stress of work deadlines to the challenges of caring for those I love. I ask that you ease these burdens and help me see that every difficulty is an opportunity to lean on your grace. Remind me, Lord, just as you carried me through past hardships, that you are here today to offer comfort and wisdom with every step I take. I also bring my hopes and dreams to you. I dream of a day filled with small victories, moments of joy, when a kind word from a friend or the sound of laughter in the morning fills my heart with gratitude. Teach me to recognize these blessings, even when the big problems try to steal my focus. Let me find peace in the quiet moments and strength in your unconditional love. God, sometimes I feel alone in my struggles, as if the chaos of life is too much to bear, but I remember that you are my constant companion. On mornings when I wake up, still tired and unsure, remind me that your loving hand is always ready to guide me. Help me start my day with a spirit of humility and honesty. Let these moments of prayer become a sanctuary where I can express my deepest fears, my sincere apologies for the times I have faltered, and my renewed determination to do better. Today, I also ask for forgiveness for any times I have neglected to rely on you when I should have. I recognize that I have tried to shoulder life's pressures on my own, forgetting that you designed this life for me to share the highs and lows alike. Renew my trust in your purpose and help me to release any lingering doubts about your plan for my life. May I see the beauty in each day as you have intricately woven together moments of joy, sorrow, growth, and learning. I lift up those around me as well. There are friends and family members who are battling their own challenges, loneliness, loss, or simply the weight of everyday struggles. I ask that you embrace them in your loving arms, give them the peace that surpasses all understanding, and guide them toward moments of hope. May I be a channel of your compassion to those in need, offering a listening ear, a warm smile, or a simple word of encouragement when I am able. This day, Lord, I choose to start by surrendering all my anxious thoughts and trusting in the path you have prepared for me. I pray for clarity when I face decisions and for courage when confronted with fears. Let my actions today reflect the deep inner peace that comes from knowing that I am loved beyond measure. With every heartbeat and every breath, remind me that life is a series of gentle, purposeful moments, each one a chance to lean on you and to grow in faith. Thank you for the small, everyday miracles, a good conversation with a coworker, a shared laugh at the breakfast table, or even a quiet moment of introspection by the window. These moments remind me that I am not defined solely by my struggles, but also by the grace and goodness that fills my life. As I move through the day, help me to see these miracles clearly, to appreciate the simple acts of kindness that light up my path, and to be open to receiving the love and support that you offer freely. Lord, I commit my day to you. I ask that you work through me to bring kindness, generosity, and courage into every encounter. Whether I face obstacles or unexpected joys, let me always remember that with you by my side, every moment becomes a chance to find beauty and meaning. Ground me in your love, teach me to remain patient, and empower me with a spirit that is resilient and hopeful. In this quiet hour, I reaffirm my trust in you. I promise to make space in my busy day to return to these moments of sincere prayer, where I can recalibrate, find peace, and simply be. Help me to carry this sacred stillness into every task, every conversation, and every challenge that comes my way, so that I may live today with a heart full of gratitude and a mind open to your infinite wisdom. Thank you, God, for listening to me today, for filling my life with grace, and for showing me that every new morning is a fresh beginning. I commit all my fears, hopes, mistakes, and dreams to you, trusting in your guidance with every step I take. May your love shine through me, and may I always remember that in your presence, there is a calm that transcends all worries. In your holy and compassionate name, I pray. Amen. Thank you for spending these moments with me in prayer and reflection. I'd love to hear your experiences and how morning prayer has shaped your day. Please share your stories in the comments, like and subscribe, and let's journey together toward a life filled with hope, faith, and genuine connection.